Welcome, everyone, to today's deep dive. And if you're listening today to practice your language skills, we like to warmly welcome you as the learner.
Yes, welcome. We're so glad you're here.
And because today's deep dive is specially designed for English beginners, we want to let you know right up front that we're going to speak at a gentle, very deliberate pace.
Right. We're aiming for around, 80 to 100 words per minute. So it's going to be nice and relaxed.
Exactly. We want to make sure every single word is clear, calm, and encouraging. Because, well, the topic we're covering today is actually one of the most stressful professional situations imaginable.
It really is. I mean, it's the stuff of nightmares for a lot of people.
Right. So picture this. You are at work, the door opens, and a customer walks straight toward you, and their face is just red.
Oh, no. You instantly know what's coming.
Yeah, they are loud, they are angry about a product or a service, and then you realize the most stressful part of the entire situation. You have to handle this in a second language.
Right. You have to speak English to navigate this intense conflict. For any professional, this is the exact moment where your heart just races.
You just want to hide under the desk.
I mean, it is the absolute peak of professional anxiety. When human emotions run that high, our brain's threat response just takes over.
Oh, for sure.
Our ability to think clearly, let alone construct perfect sentences in another language, it just drops to near zero. We go straight into survival mode.
But our mission today is to show you that navigating that anger actually has nothing to do with perfect English grammar.
It really doesn't.
It has everything to do with a hidden cultural code. So today we are looking at a practical guide for handling customer complaints.
Yes, and it's specifically tailored for professionals who work across borders.
We are going to explore the exact simple phrases you need to confidently de-escalate any situation. But more importantly, we will decode how different cultures, specifically China versus the West, actually express dissatisfaction.
Because the sources we're analyzing today, they reveal something fascinating. A customer complaint is rarely just about a broken product.
Right. It's deeper than that.
Exactly. It is a complex psychological event. Different cultures have vastly different expectations for how a problem should be acknowledged or, how an apology should be delivered.
And what a resolution actually looks like. So the idea is if you understand the hidden psychology behind their behavior, the English words you need become so much easier to find.
That's exactly it. The words just follow the mindset.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Before anyone can solve a problem or fix a broken product, the very first step is dealing with the human being standing in front of you.
You have to fix the mood first.
Right. So what is the absolute first step when that angry complaint arises? How do we lower the emotional temperature in the room?
Well, it starts with a core concept. Staying calm is paramount. You do this through a psychological mechanism called mirroring.
Mirroring. Okay,
Yeah.
So matching their energy.
Actually, the opposite in this case. Calmness is contagious. If a customer approaches you with frantic, high-stress energy, and you meet them with a low, steady, deliberate energy.
Their nervous system will start to adapt to yours.
Exactly. They will naturally begin to mirror your calmness. But the very first action you take to make this happen isn't actually an action at all.
Right, what do you mean?
Your first move is to not speak. You simply listen,
Okay.
and you listen without interrupting. You have to let the customer fully explain what is wrong.
That is so hard to do, though. I mean, the natural instinct when someone is yelling is to just interrupt them.
Oh, absolutely.
You want to immediately defend yourself, or, you want to instantly offer the solution just to make them stop talking.
Which is pretty much the worst thing you can do. They've built up a massive amount of emotional energy, and they need to release it.
It makes me think of an analogy. It's like a game of tug of war. The angry customer is holding one end of a thick rope, and they are pulling really hard.
Yes, great analogy.
They expect you to pick up the other end of the rope and pull back. They expect an argument, and if you try to defend your company or interrupt them, you are picking up the rope.
And the tension just increases. You're fighting.
Exactly. But if you just listen, you refuse to pick up the rope. So how do we prove we are listening without starting a fight? What are the English phrases we can use?
Once they finish releasing that emotional energy, you completely disarm them by using a few very basic, carefully chosen phrases.
Yeah.
You simply say, I understand.
I understand.
Or you can say, I see.
I see. Simply saying I understand is such a basic phrase, but I imagine it shifts the customer's mindset. How does it move them from combat mode into collaboration mode?
It's because it validates their feelings. It creates a bridge. And there's one phrase highlighted in our research that takes this a step further. You look at them and calmly say, I understand your concern.
I understand your concern. Let's unpack the psychology of that word, concern.
Yeah, it's a very subtle professional maneuver. When you say, I understand your concern, you are validating their feelings without admitting any fault.
Oh, right. So you're not saying they are right.
No, not at all. You are not confessing that your company made a terrible mistake. You are just acknowledging that their frustration is real.
That makes a lot of sense. You're dropping your end of the rope. You are removing the friction, and suddenly you are no longer two enemies fighting across a desk.
Right, you become two professionals standing on the same side, looking at the problem together.
Okay, so you've built the bridge. The customer feels heard. The emotional temperature has dropped. Now, according to the sources, society expects the next step in the interaction, which is the apology.
Yes, the apology. But this is where we see a massive cultural divide between the East and the West. It's fascinating.
It really is. But before we get into the cultural differences, let's establish the core concept for the English phrases you need. Because there is a crucial rule here for the professional apology.
Yes, there is. And the rule is, you aren't apologizing for yourself. You are apologizing for the situation.
Right. You have to separate your personal identity from the company's error. You are taking responsibility for the interaction, but you are not taking the personal blame.
Exactly. And the vital English phrase to establish that professional distance is, I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Let's define that word inconvenience for the learner.
Sure. An inconvenience is basically just a small problem or a bit of trouble. It frames the customer's frustration as a temporary disruption rather than, a catastrophic failure.
And if the issue is larger, like a major financial error or maybe a ruined vacation,
then you elevate the language slightly. You say, I'm very sorry about this situation. You are still apologizing for the event, not your personal action.
I'm very sorry about this situation. Okay, so the apology is issued, but this is where the cultural expectations completely diverge, right?
Oh, massively. If we look at how a company in China handles a customer complaint versus the West, the underlying philosophy is entirely different.
How so?
Well, in Chinese business culture, harmony and humility are deeply valued. So when a customer complains, the company will often apologize many times.
Many times.
Yeah, it's a necessary ritual. Furthermore, they often rely on giving a small physical gift, or maybe an immediate discount, to make amends. The gift is a physical manifestation of their regret.
It restores the harmony, but in the West, apologies are usually very brief. A Western service representative will usually apologize just once or twice.
Right. They say, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, and then they immediately stop apologizing.
They don't offer a small physical gift just to show humility. Instead, Western companies immediately pivot their focus entirely, fixing the actual problem. The fix is the real apology.
Yes, exactly. Discounts might happen later, but the immediate action is what matters.
Wait, I have to push back on this a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
If a Chinese customer is used to receiving repeated apologies and a tangible gift, won't the Western style of apologizing just once and moving on feel a bit cold or dismissive to them?
It absolutely can feel dismissive. It's a trap many global businesses fall into. But you have to look at the psychology behind the Western approach.
Which is what?
In Western culture, time is considered incredibly valuable. So, over-apologizing can actually seem insincere.
Oh, I see. Like you're just talking instead of doing the work.
Exactly. Westerners highly value efficiency paired with empathy. Fixing the issue swiftly is seen as the highest form of respect for the customer's time.
So efficiency really is empathy in the West.
That's a great point. Okay, so moving on. Now that the apology has been issued, we must transition into what I like to call detective mode.
Detective mode. I like that.
Right, because to actually fix the issue, you have to gather the details.
You do. You need clear, direct questions. You need phrases that prompt the customer to give you the facts without restarting the emotional argument. Right, so let's practice the English phrases for this. The phrasing should be simple. You ask, can you tell me more about the problem?
Can you tell me more about the problem?
Or a slightly more direct phrase, what exactly happened?
What exactly happened? These direct questions are vital for finding a solution. But how the customer presents the problem reveals another stark cultural contrast from our sources.
Yes, the directness gap. Tell us about that.
Well, in China, customers tend to be very direct when presenting a problem. They might speak loudly, openly show their frustration, and immediately demand to see a manager.
They want a quick solution from someone high up.
Exactly. But in the West, customers are often much more polite and indirect when complaining.
Yes, they are. They will frequently use the phrase, "I'm sorry to bother you, but."
Yes, I'm sorry to bother you, but it's so common.
It is like a secret cultural code. So when a Western customer says, "I'm sorry to bother you," they don't actually mean they are sorry.
Not at all.
It basically translates to, "I have a real problem. I need you to fix it right now. But social rules dictate I must be polite about it."
That's a perfect translation. It's a polite wrapper around a very urgent demand.
But there is a huge danger here, right? If they are polite, it's easy to assume the problem isn't a big deal.
Exactly. And that is a massive mistake. I always warn people, never mistake Western politeness for the problem being unimportant. They expect the same high level of urgent service as someone who is shouting.
Wow. Okay, so do not let the polite smile fool you. So we've navigated the cultural codes and we've gathered the facts, but this interaction must end with action.
Yes, it has to move forward.
But what do you do if you simply don't know how to fix the broken product or service? You know the details, but you don't have the answer. People just freeze.
Oh, the fear of not knowing the answer paralyzes people, especially in a second language. But the core concept here is really reassuring. It is perfectly okay not to have an immediate answer.
Wait, really? It is.
Yes. The key is just to show forward momentum. The customer feels stuck. They just need to see that someone is actively working to get them unstuck.
So you just have to show motion. Let's walk through the action phrases slowly for our listeners.
Okay, if you need to investigate, you say, "I'll check this for you right away."
I'll check this for you right away. And what if you don't have the authority to fix it?
Then you activate the hierarchy. You say, "Let me talk to my manager."
Let me talk to my manager. And if it's really complicated,
You use one of the most comforting phrases possible. You say, "I'll do my best."
I'll do my best. It shows you have taken ownership of their problem.
It does.
Yeah.
But there is a crucial final step, the follow-up.
Right.
Our sources stress that following up via call or email is what ultimately builds trust. You have to close the loop.
Let's give our listeners the key closing phrases for that. You say, "I'll get back to you," and you always thank them. "Thank you for letting us know."
I'll get back to you, and thank you for letting us know.
Beautiful. You know, to summarize this for the learner, let's just recap the core English vocabulary we used today for this entire process. We talked about handling a complaint from a customer.
Right. You identify the problem and look for a solution.
You might need to involve a manager.
Yeah.
You listen to their feedback about the issue. And finally, you always follow up.
That's a perfect summary of the vocabulary. And, looking at all these differences, whether the customer is loud or polite, expects a gift or just a quick fix, there's a universal truth here.
I agree. Despite all the cultural theater, every single customer, regardless of geography, ultimately just wants their problem solved.
Yes. They just want the broken thing fixed and to feel respected.
So let's gently recap the journey for our listeners.
Sounds good.
First, you stay calm and listen actively. You apologize for the situation using phrases like, "I'm sorry for the inconvenience." You ask for details with direct questions.
And you commit to following up to show forward momentum, all while keeping those hidden cultural expectations in mind.
Exactly. And now we want to issue a little challenge to you, the listener. We invite you to practice.
Yes, practice makes perfect.
Imagine you are helping an unhappy customer right now. We want you to say your response out loud. Try combining an expression of understanding with a promise of action.
For example, say aloud, "I understand your concern. Let me check this for you."
Doing it out loud really helps build that confidence. As we wrap up today's deep dive, we want to leave you with a final provocative thought to ponder on your own.
Yes. If the ultimate universal goal across all cultures is simply to get the problem solved and feel understood,
Right.
could consciously adapting to these different cultural communication styles, like learning when to be direct and when to be gentle, actually make us better, more empathetic problem solvers in our personal relationships,
Right.
not just in customer service?
Oh, wow. That is a great thought. Taking these skills and using them with our friends and family, not picking up the tug-of-war rope at home.
Exactly. Empathy works everywhere.
It really does. Well, thank you all for joining us today. Keep practicing those phrases. Remember to keep calm and keep solving problems.
Yes. Thanks for listening. Take care.
Goodbye, everyone.